Thank you, everybody. Before I get started, I would like to mention that there are a few members of my family here. First, at the table down here, Carol's here with me. And my brother Wayne is here. More, but I'm not going to go over all the names, but I'm going to simplify it. We have 5 children, and three are here. Lori and Ronnie. Where's the third one? Robert! No, Robert's by himself today. His family's in Fort Worth. But if the 3 would stand up with their families, because a lot of the children and grandchildren, I believe there's a great-grandchild or 2 here, so they're around. But it is indeed very honoring to have so many people come out, and for those who put this together, Lou Rockwell, like he said, I've known him for a few years. He spent a couple of years in Washington with me, and he and Jeff have put this together for the Mises Institute, and I thank you very much, Lou, for all the effort for that. Also, Tom, thank you very much. Tom also works with me in the homeschooling curriculum and puts a lot of energy into it. And in many ways, Tom, I think the homeschool curriculum is just getting started, and it's going to get bigger and have a significance because it's going to be something that's going to be around for a long time. And of course, we do know that nothing happens in government unless we change people's views, and that's the purpose of a homeschool curriculum, to educate a new generation in the correct fashion to know about economics and history and political philosophy. So I consider that very, very important. But most of all, the thank you goes to people like you who have given me and the organization support, because without your support, there's no activity. Now, I am sometimes amazed at what has happened. In 2007 and 2008, it surprised me as much as it surprised some other people, because I didn't have a plan. I didn't say, well, if I do A, B, C, this is going to happen, and these are the results. My goals were quite different. My goals in getting into politics were strictly to get information out, because I was motivated by a particular day in history. And guess what day that was? 8/15/71. August 15th, 1971, which is an anniversary today. And that was, of course, the breakdown of the Bretton Woods Agreement, which was a pseudo gold standard, which was doomed to fail. Austrian free market economists predicted it would fail, and it did. And for that reason, I thought that I would speak out on economic issues. So it was a driving force on economic issues, believing that we were in for some bad times. And I recall the event on Monday morning, because the announcement came on Sunday night. It was a disastrous announcement. It was severing gold from the dollar, which meant more inflation. They were put on a huge tariff, and all kinds of problems from that. So I thought this was negative, negative, negative. So I attended a Chamber of Commerce meeting that morning, the Monday morning afterwards, and they usually sent messages down from the national office to, support or inform or tell people what's going on economically and politically. And they came down, they were all enthused about this particular movement. And that day, the stock market went up the most in one day up until that period of time. So the markets were saying, hey, this is good, and the Chamber of Commerce likes it, but I obviously believed there was something wrong. And that is when I thought, well, we're in for big trouble. And it didn't take long after the 1971 announcement for us to be ushered in the age of 1970s was a very bad decade. And of course, all the problems we've had ever since. But I used that to speak out. I really didn't expect that I would go to Congress, and that was not too relevant for me. It was to try to get information out. And so the first time I ran was 1974. 1974, it wasn't hard to get on the ticket as a Republican. At that particular time, there were 3 Republican members of Congress. Nobody wanted to run. It was a Watergate year, so just a little bit of hint that, I might put my name on the ticket. I was welcome to do that. The interesting thing, though, people who know the district here, is that that was the 22nd district. It included all of Brazoria County and all of Fort Bend County, and still 70% of the district was in Harris County. And of course, the demographics has changed completely. You can practically have a district just in Brazoria County and maybe 2 districts in Fort Bend County. So this was something that I wasn't expected to win the election. I didn't win in '74, but I kept speaking out. But I do recall talking it over with Carol, because I told her what I wanted to do. And I had a great medical practice. I love medicine and did for a long time. Matter of fact, that's why I went back into medicine after I was in Congress for 4 terms. And when I told her, I said, this is what I wanted to do, just to speak out. And she said, you can't do this. This is a dangerous thing to do. I said, how can it be danger? I didn't know she knew about the conspiracy theory or not. But she said it was dangerous because you might win. Or no, she said you could win or you will win. And I said, no, don't worry about it. Because my message was not to play Santa Claus and say, what do you want? What do you want? And she said, I remember very clearly what she said. She said, yeah, but they're going to elect you because they will know that you're telling the truth. So that is what her perceptions was at that time. So at that time, I thought my goal ought to be I ended up winning a special election, I won on my terms, what I believed in, and stated as clearly as I could. But people assured me immediately afterwards, especially because it was a small election, special election, they said, don't deceive yourself. The people who voted for you, they don't have the biggest idea what you're all about, and it's just a fluke. So I figured this wouldn't do it. So I thought, my job is to vote exactly as I said to see if I'd be reelected. And of course, the very first week I was there, I had a lot of grief for voting by myself the first week or so. But I got all the grief, not from the Democrats. It was always from the conservative Republicans that came, and they didn't want me to vote on these basic principles because they didn't have it pointed out that they weren't following the Constitution and whatnot. But I figured that, no, there's no way I'll get reelected. So I was surprised, and then I thought, well, over the years, I left and went back home for 12 years and practiced medicine, and went back in, in 96, won in 96. But I still thought my role, and always did throughout, was to set a record.